This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, we're on to the big Rumble event. Steve Austin would win the Royal Rumble in 50 minutes and 29 seconds. This wasn't one of the better Rumbles, according to Meltzer, nor one of the worst. Basically, the Steve Austin show, as he lasted over 45 minutes and eliminated 11 people, which has to be some kind of a record. He did the Ric Flair and the Diesel gimmick in the same match. Mil Mascaras at age 58 looked surprisingly good, only because Meltzer had seen how bad he looks in Mexico, although he didn't want to sell for anyone and screwed up the Sultan's belly-to-belly. Mascaras eliminated Cybernetico at 21:38 and followed throwing Pieroth Jr. out at 21:44. Mascaras then climbed to the top rope and did a plancha on both, thereby eliminating himself at 21:55.
I'm sure that took an act of Congress to get that finish worked out.
Right. They explained that Mascaras didn't know the rules of a Royal Rumble. Oh, okay. There we go. Bret Hart came out to a huge pop, not selling the ankle injury they made such a big deal about last weekend. I can only assume when the decision was made for Hart not to win that they didn't want him to look weak, so they dropped the previously planned angle. Hart got the sharpshooter on Austin when Jerry Lawler, who had been doing the play-by-play, jumped up as the surprise entrant, and he lasted 8 whole seconds, basically long enough to climb in, get punched by Hart, and take a bump at 31 minutes and 6 seconds and falling out of the ring. Mankind suplexed Funk over at 49:17. There's our Terry Funk spot. And Undertaker dumped Mankind over at 49:33, leaving Mankind and Funk to brawl on the floor. At 50 minutes and 6 seconds, Hart threw Austin over the top, but neither referee saw it. What are you doing, Mike Chioda? You're not paying attention. And Austin got back in, which basically at that point ensured what the finish was going to be. Austin dumped Vader, Undertaker, and Diesel together at 50 minutes, 20 seconds, and followed by dumping Hart at 50 minutes, 29 seconds to win the match. 3 stars. This is legit, the Steve Austin show. Leaving the show, you know, the Austin train has left the station.
Hey, folks, it's time to take your podcast game to the next level. And you certainly want to get your almighty push. My God, we have to have a push, right? We'll get that over to adfreeshows.com. Now, I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Grilling JR, adfreeshows.com has the entire episode library, and it's got no ads. 0 ads, zilch, none. Ad-free and on video starting at just $9. Did you hear what I said? $9. You spend more than that at Starbucks, for God's sakes. 2 mornings. If that's not all, folks, we got tons of bonus content, including my after-hours roundtable, where drinking was involved with Eric and Tony. You simply will not find a better value in all of wrestling. Hey, look, don't make me go red ass, because by God, you know I will. Hurry over to adfreeshows.com right now and sign up. And I thank you.
JR.
Of course, yeah. That was no brainer. It was going to be that way. It was going to be that way. He was getting over. And the last thing you do if you have a brain in your body is to derail that or slow it down. And a lot of the guys that Austin was beating in that Rumble were also guys that were looking to have runs with Steve, you know, going forward. They all wanted a piece of that hot redneck baby face because there's money there. So, yeah, it worked out well. That was good teamwork with all those guys. I really appreciated Vader and Undertaker, Diesel, of course, Brett. All those top guys are giving Austin that big rub, man, and he took advantage of it and ran with the ball.
Listen, go back and watch at least the Rumble match, not the whole card, but it's a who's who list of stars in this match. You had a young Rocky Maivia in this match coming down with the blue frills that he first debuted with. You got Mick Foley, Undertaker, so many guys in this match that a lot of us that are watching it, this is our teenage years and in our 20s, maybe some as kids, but man, it's a fun one to watch. Well, JR, we have finally made it. We have arrived. The buildup is over. We're now at the show, and it's a big one. 60,525 fans. It's the second largest paid attendance in the U.S. at this point. The Alamo Dome in San Antonio, what was it like walking into that venue for the show, JR?
Oh, it was fun because, I was a big fan of the Alamo Bowl, and Oklahoma just recently played in in that facility. They beat Oregon. Where the hell the bowl was called. But
I can't keep up with them.
Maybe it's the Alamo Bowl. Hell, I don't know. It was cool. San Antonio is a great place to visit. Food's great, party atmosphere. Always the weather's decent. So it was a new area for us, new venue for us, and we had set the plate to have a big house built around Shawn Michaels, considering that was his hometown. Hey, folks, it's time to take your podcast game to the next level. And you certainly want to get your almighty push. My God, we have to have a push, right? We'll get that over at adfreeshows.com. Now, I'm telling you, if you're a fan of Grilling JR, adfreeshows.com has the entire episode library, and it's got no ads. 0 ads, zilch, none. Ad-free and on video starting at just $9. Did you hear what I said? $9. You spend more than that at Starbucks, for God's sakes. 2 mornings. But that's not all, folks. We got tons of bonus content, including my after-hours roundtable, where drinking was involved with Eric and Tony. You simply will not find a better value in all of wrestling. Hey, look, don't make me go red ass, because by God, you know I will. Hurry over to adfreeshows.com right now and sign up. And I thank you.
Well, it's the show's not well received from Observer readers. They gave it a 46.1%. As far as 46.1%, voted thumbs down. And Meltzer was critical of the show. He said, from a match quality standpoint, this wasn't a good show. The Rumble match was a one-man show with nobody else even making a dent. Michaels, bothered by the flu, had his worst pay-per-view match in several years, although in his hometown, with a crowd that had come largely to see only one match, it came off well as a spectacle, and to many hid the work rate. Sid may also have not been at 100% due to having an auto accident just 9 days earlier, although he had worked 3 house shows dates in the interim, as he did almost nothing. The crowd shots and general strong production were the highlights of a show that contained average to fair wrestling. JR, do you think that's a fair assessment of the show in your mind?
Yeah, it was a great show. It had its moments. It was an experimental show to see who could get over, who might get over. Experimental may not be the right descriptor. I'm not sure. But I didn't think it stunk, but it wasn't one of our greatest pay-per-view efforts.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.